Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Jesu, and on this channel I talk about immigration. I share updates, some latest immigration updates. I share my own personal Canada journey, my personal experiences, information that's been really helpful to me in settling in Canada, and of course basic chit chat. I'm right here ready to help as much as I can. If you're just coming to Canada or you're in Canada and you don't have as much information, you can ask your questions, you can send me a DM, you can drop your questions in a comment, and I'll be glad to answer them. Okay, so today this video is really going to be short, right? So I'm just going to be talking about the English test battle. So there's always a battle on what to choose, on which of the English texts to go for, which is easier, which is more affordable, which suits each individual. So there's always this CELPIP IELTS, what do people do? And the funny thing is, it is not just CELPIP and IELTS. There are other, English test bodies, like the Pearson test too. Like, well, people don't even talk about that. But I think, the Pearson test just came into the picture maybe a year, a couple months ago. But the fight is usually between CELPIP IELTS. So I'm just going to share my own personal opinion and what I feel. As somebody that has done both IELTS and CELPIP, I'm going to be sharing from that perspective. So yeah, so for each English test, they both have their pros and cons, but I'm going to start with IELTS. IELTS is organized by the Australian body IDP, and British Council, which is UK. So that's like British, and the Australian body is IDP. They have the bodies that coordinate the IELTS exam. So when I did mine with IDP. I have a couple of my friends. I also did theirs with British Council. And interestingly, people still have to decide which is better between IDP IELTS and, British Council IELTS. Is actually very funny, but the curriculum is the same thing. Whichever one you decide to work with, the curriculum for IELTS is the same thing. Either you want to go for IDP IELTS or the British Council IELTS. So what do I like about IELTS? IELTS is very detailed. Like, I think it's really very good because it covers every aspect: the speaking, the listening, the reading, and the writing. Like, it's comprehensive and let me say hard. It's not like it's that bad, but of course, if you have been taught in English, you might not have so much problem, with the IELTS. But if you've not been taught in English, like English is not your first language, you might have a bit of struggle doing the IELTS, and you might need to do a lot of practice, having to ace the exam. Now, even if you've been taught in English, IELTS can actually be a big deal, right? It can be a big deal because I read for IELTS and I know what it was like. So, I passed my IELTS. Well, the only thing I had was I had a 6.5 in writing, which I, asked for a remark for. So that was the only, that was the least I had. I think in my reading I had a 7.5. In my listening I had 8 or 8.5, and in my speaking I had an 8.5. So like I actually did fairly well in my IELTS. So which was not bad, but of course it expired before I even got to use it for Canada stuff. I used it when I was in the pool, but my score wasn't still high before I decided to use the study route to come to Canada. But like IELTS was actually a big deal. It was good, but will I do it again? I'm not sure. I'll tell you at the end of this video. Okay, so then we have IELTS. Like I said, is organized by two bodies, IDP and then the British Council. So CELPIP. CELPIP. So I heard about CELPIP when I arrived in Canada because at the time I did my IELTS in my home country, Nigeria. I'm Nigerian. In my home country, Nigeria, I don't think there was CELPIP in Nigeria then. I don't think there was. So, I only did IELTS and I did the IDP IELTS. But now CELPIP is in Nigeria and I'm super excited because I think I find CELPIP a lot easier. So like when I started studying for CELPIP. I'm like, oh, this is not bad. Like, it took me like a week to prepare. It took me like 2 months to prepare for IELTS. I'm like, this is not bad. Like, it's not like IELTS and all that. But what I found out is IELTS actually prepared me for CELPIP. I used to tell people, if you want to do CELPIP, do a bit of IELTS. It's like IELTS take you this way. So it gives you this expectation this way. And then even if what you is being brought to you is this way, because you have the expectation that was going to come this way, you are able to, ace it or max it. I don't know if you understand what I mean. Because like for my IELTS, like my practice was, I would score low and later I was able to get a clue. And I also realized I am not such a good reader, but I can speak well and okay, be a bit of a good listener, right? But reading is not what I love to do. It's like reading in between the lines. I prefer to summarize and just paraphrase and stuff like that. My husband is very good at reading. He always has 38, 39 or 40. In my own reading, what made me pass my reading was I later, learned the techniques of what to do, things to look out for, and that was how I was able to pass. But honestly, aside from doing the thing for the exam, I am not a reading person, like reading to get the details and looking in between the line for the synonyms and stuff like that. I'm not. So, so when it came to my CELPIP, the knowledge I had for my IELTS was, it played a good role. It played a good part in me passing my CELPIP all at once. I had a band 9. Yeah, this might not seem like all great, but believe me, I only had 2 days to prepare because I did it right after my exam. And because I already booked, right? But like I booked after my exam, but I'm like, I didn't even have time during my exams to do this. So I just took one night and went through all the aspects, and the fact that I have done IELTS, just gave me an edge, honestly. So I'll say CELPIP because firstly, why I like CELPIP, some questions are not as much as IELTS. IELTS has to be all 40s. For CELPIP, the grading is also better in the Canadian system because, of course, it's coordinated by the Canadian body. So I think the grading in the system or the grading in the S% rate is a bit better than the grading for the IELTS in the same pool. So that's one plus for the CELPIP. Now for CELPIP again, the questions are not as tough as IELTS. Honestly, believe me, they are not as they're not as tough as IELTS. But like I said, if IELTS gives you this expectation and that's what you prepare with, you're going to be able to pass your CELPIP. So like they both have their pros and they both have their cons. So like, but if you're not English speaking prior to now, you might just want to focus on doing your CELPIP. And how did I go about practicing my CELPIP? For my IELTS, I also used YouTube videos. I followed Chris IELTS. I followed is it Alex? Yeah, I just followed a couple and they were really amazing, and those are what I use. For my CELPIP too, there's this guy, I think his name is Ali something, that I followed his tactics. Firstly, I learned about the tactics of how to address each sections, like the reading, blah blah blah, and then I now go ahead. I used phonics CELPIP because they have lots of mock questions, which was it was timed, but exactly what I was expecting to get in the exam, and that was what I used for my practice for all the 4 sections, which was really great. So now if you would ask me, I would vote for CELPIP anytime, any day, because and there's also Pearson test. I don't know much about it because I didn't even have to research it. I was just like, okay, I already did IELTS before, inspired, I'm just going to go for CELPIP. But people said the grading is also better and the scoring is good, so you might want to explore all the 3. But CELPIP is affordable and it's a lot more easier than IELTS. So if you're in the if you're at the point of making a decision on whichever one to actually do, if you're in Canada, even if you're not in Canada, I advise you to do CELPIP. But you can use IELTS material for preparation, and a bit of CELPIP, because mostly CELPIP is online. IELTS still has paper based, right? But you use mostly CELPIP questions for your practice, but also prepare yourself with knowledge of what is to expect for each sections with an IELTS stuff. This is gonna help you to ace your exam, and you're gonna have a very good grade. So yeah, my bias is towards CELPIP because why not? If it is gonna be easy, why not? So get your CELPIP ready, get your English test ready, and with that, you're on your pathway to use it for either your provisional nomination or your permanent residency application. So I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, please drop it in the comment section. I would like you to subscribe to my channel, like, share, and follow for more. Thank you so much, and have a good time. Bye.